My name is Ben Chung, the inventor of the tech deck. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you a brief history of playing cards and an introduction to the tech deck. Playing cards had their origins in China. Playing cards were invented in China during the Tang Dynasty around the 9th century AD as a result of woodblock printing technology. The earliest known reference to card games is a text known as the Collection of Miscellanea at Duyang, describing the Princess Tong Chang playing the leaf game, or paper dominoes, in 868. The leaf game existed since the mid-Tang dynasty and is associated with the development of printing sheets as a writing medium. One of the earliest games that we know the rules to is Ma Diao, a trick-taking game which dates to the Ming dynasty, which ran from 1368 to 1644. The first suits were increasing denominations of currencies, coins, strings of coins, myriads of strings, and tens of myriads, suggesting that they were derived from money. The Mamluk Empire brings cards to Europe. The Mamluk Empire was a Middle Eastern empire, now in the area of Egypt, that in 1370 had a playing card game called Naib. Europe in the 1370s was a time of kings and queens, castles and knights, and it was recovering from the bubonic plague or the Black Death. Western Europe was invaded in North Africa, Spain, and Sicily by Islamic forces during the Mamluk Sultanate of Egypt. Spain was the point of contact to the Arab world where cultural, military, and commercial interactions occurred. The Spanish word napes is loaned from naib, and the Mamluk deck is the ancestor of the playing card. The earliest record of napes comes from a Catalan rhyming dictionary in 1371. Mamluk cards were hand-drawn and only for aristocrats because they were expensive. The borders of the cards is in the shape of an arch, as seen in Islamic doorways, windows, friezes, and gravestone decorations. The suits are coins, cups, swords, and polo sticks, and there were 13 cards per suit, the numbers 1 to 10 plus 3 court cards, the king, lieutenant, and the second lieutenant. The ranks of the court cards were given in the blue inscription areas at the bottoms of the cards, and each of the cards had idioms or sayings on them. Playing cards then evolved in Europe. At first, in Europe, the cards were illustrated by hand also, and as such, the playing cards were a luxury. Only the aristocracy could afford them. With the Gutenberg printing press, by the early 15th century, the Germans had mastered printing with wood blocks. With the hardware easily obtainable, the cards became popular among people of all classes. Cards spread from Italy to the Germanic countries. The Latin suits were replaced with the suits of leaves, hearts, bells, and acorns, and a combination of Latin and Germanic pictures and names resulted in the French suits of clovers, tiles, hearts, and pikes by around 1480. The clover was probably derived from the acorn, and the pike from the leaf of the German suits. The names pike and spade, however, may have derived from the sword of the Italian suits, and in England, the French suits were eventually used, although the earliest packs circulating may have had Latin suits. In the late 14th century, Europeans changed the Mamluk court cards to represent European royalty and attendants. The earliest courts were originally a king, an upper marshal, and a lower marshal, and these were the Ober and Unter cards found in German and Swiss playing cards. The Italians and Iberians replaced the Ober-Unter system with the knight before 1390. In England, the lowest court card was called the knave, which represented the prince, which was son to the king and queen. Queens appeared in packs as early as 1377, especially in Germany, and by mid-15th century France, card fever really took hold, and they invented the suits and court cards that most countries use today. The court cards depicted famous kings, queens, princes, and warriors. Notable figures such as Julius Caesar, Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, and Lancelot were depicted on cards. In 1628, the Ministry of Makers of Playing Cards of the City of London, now the Worshipful Company of Makers of Playing Cards, was incorporated under a royal charter by Charles I and received livery status from the Court of Aldermayne of the City of London in 1792. It still exists today. The tech deck is a modernized version of playing cards. Each of the cards represents concepts that are from the 21st century and that people would readily recognize today. They have four domains or four suits in knowledge, science, technology, and service, and also have card values ranging from 1 to 13 with 2 wild cards. And each of the cards has unique game effects on them to enhance the play experience of any classic card game. The tech deck is also a game platform that you can play many games with. The Tech Grid Poker and Tech City were the first two in a series of games that were introduced with more in design. Tech Grid Poker is a two-dimensional poker game where players simultaneously make two poker hands from a communal 3x3 array of cards, one using the row cards, another the column cards. Tech City is a multiplayer semi-cooperative city building card game where the tech deck cards represent companies that players build into the city, with more effects becoming available to all players as the city expands. Tech Exchange is a real-time stock trading game where the tech deck cards represent company stocks. Players trade these cards with each other simultaneously, and as they trade, the stock market grows and the value of certain stock cards increase. Tech Chess is a chess variant where each of the tech deck cards represent chess pieces, each with abilities. Here we see an individual tech deck card with the traditional playing card index of the 6 of clubs, a modern concept software, and the tech deck playing card index, the 6 of technology, an image to represent software, the inventors Tom Kilburn and Freddie Williams and what they invented, and the game effect that is on that tech deck card called Adapt. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about the history of playing cards and the introduction to the tech deck.